Libra. If you're listening to this right now, pause for a second. Have you felt it? That quiet pressure in your chest. Like something around money is shifting, but you can't explain how yet. Not chaos, not panic. Just a subtle change in the air. You've been doing everything right, thinking it through, balancing everyone else's needs, holding yourself back just enough to keep the peace. But what if I told you, this moment isn't here to test you, it's here to unlock you. This message didn't find you by accident. And it's not about chasing money harder, it's about realizing why your story is changing quietly. Right now. Stay with me, trust your intuition. And if this already feels personal, drop a comment, subscribe, and don't look away. Because what comes next changes the way you see everything. Libra. I want you to stay right here with me for a moment, not as a listener, but as someone I am sitting next to late at night when the world finally goes quiet. Because what is happening to you right now is not loud. It does not announce itself. It does not demand attention. It moves the way fog does, soft, slow, almost invisible until you suddenly realize the air feels different. You may not have seen a dollar change hands yet. You may not have received the message, the call, the confirmation, and still something inside you knows this is not the same chapter anymore. There is a calm replacing the pressure, a strange easing in your chest, like you are no longer bracing for impact, and that matters. You see, Libra, your sign understands balance better than most. You have spent years weighing every decision, holding space for others, adjusting yourself so everything stays fair, reasonable, peaceful. But money does not move through force, it moves through alignment. And lately, you have stopped fighting yourself. Even if you did not notice it consciously, even if it happened quietly, you began loosening your grip. You stopped proving, stopped justifying, stopped asking why it has to be so hard. That shift right there is where the door begins to open. Not because you chased it, but because you finally stood still long enough to feel where you were already standing. I want you to notice something. Your thoughts around money are changing first. Before the numbers, before the results. You are questioning old rules, old timelines, old expectations that never truly belong to you. And that is how healing begins, not with action, with awareness. This is the part most people miss. They look for signs outside themselves. But Libra, your sign is ruled by perception, by clarity, by truth revealed through reflection. That is why this phase feels quiet, why it feels internal, why it almost feels sacred. You are not meant to rush this. You are meant to see something clearly for the first time. And when you do, you will understand why things could not move sooner. Not because you were blocked, but because you were being refined. Your values are sharper now. Your boundaries are cleaner. Your sense of worth no longer wavers the way it used to. That is not accidental. That is preparation. And here is what I need you to hear, Libra. The universe does not test you with money. It responds to who you believe you are allowed to become. Right now, you are becoming someone who does not chase balance, but embodies it. Someone who no longer negotiates their worth. Someone who no longer apologizes for wanting more ease, more stability, more peace around money. That is why the shift is quiet, because it is deep. And as this settles as you breathe into it, something else begins to surface. A realization, a subtle idea, a different way of seeing your path, not yet fully formed, but close. So, stay with me. Do not rush ahead. Let the silence speak. Because what you are about to notice next changes how everything moves from here. And when that moment arrives, you will recognize it, not by noise, but by certainty. Libra, there is something I need to say to you quietly. Not to correct you, not to guide you, just to sit with you in this realization. You have been holding your breath for a long time, not because life demanded it, but because you believed peace only came when you stayed composed, when you stayed reasonable, when you stayed small enough not to disturb the balance. You learned early how to read a room, how to sense tension before it spoke, how to soften yourself so others could feel safe, and you became very good at it. But somewhere along the way, your own desires learned how to whisper instead of speak. You told yourself you were being patient, responsible, mature. Yet beneath that calm exterior, there was a quiet exhaustion. Not dramatic, just heavy enough to slow everything down, including money, because money does not respond to restraint. It responds to flow. And lately, Libra, something subtle has shifted inside you. You have stopped forcing clarity, stopped asking yourself to have it all figured out, stopped trying to balance every possible outcome before taking a breath. You didn't make a big announcement about it. You didn't even consciously decide. You simply loosened your grip. And that is when energy began to move again. Not because you pushed, but because you finally allowed space. I want you to notice how different your body feels now when you think about the future. There is less tension in your shoulders, less urgency in your thoughts, more room between one worry and the next. That space matters more than you realize, because in that space, ideas begin to land softly instead of crashing in. Opportunities approach without resistance, and money finds pathways it could not access before. Spirit is not asking you to do more. It is asking you to stop overcorrecting yourself, to stop negotiating your worth every time you want ease, every time you want abundance to arrive without struggle. You are allowed to receive without proving. That truth may feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, but comfort is not always a sign of alignment. Sometimes alignment feels like relief, like finally exhaling after years of shallow breathing. You are not lazy for resting. You are not irresponsible for slowing down. You are recalibrating, and recalibration is where Libra's power actually lives. Because your sign was never meant to force outcomes. You were meant to recognize the moment when effort turns into friction and choose grace instead. That choice right there is already changing your money story. Not overnight, not magically, but organically. You are learning to trust timing instead of controlling it, to trust intuition instead of overanalysis, to trust yourself instead of the rules you inherited. And as that trust settles, something else begins to rise. A gentle curiosity, a new question, a realization that does not come from fear, but from clarity. It does not rush you, it invites you. So stay present. Do not rush past this moment, because the next layer is not about effort. It is about seeing something you have never quite seen before. And once you do, everything that follows will feel simpler. Libra, come a little closer now. Not physically, energetically, because this next moment does not arrive with noise. It arrives like a thought you almost miss, like a pause between two breaths, like light slipping through a crack you did not know was there. You may be driving, or sitting alone, or listening with half your attention while the world moves around you. And then it happens. Not a command, not a demand, just a quiet knowing. It feels like the room shifts, like your chest opens slightly, like something inside you says, wait, that makes sense. This is not about learning something new. It is about remembering something true. For a long time, Libra, you have been questioning your instincts, revising your decisions, second-guessing the path you felt drawn to because it did not look logical enough, or safe enough, or approved enough. You told yourself you were being realistic, but deep down, you knew you were editing yourself. And now, that edit no longer fits. This is where the insight enters. It may arrive as an idea that keeps returning, not loudly, but persistently. A thought that refuses to disappear, no matter how many times you dismiss it. Or it may arrive as a sudden clarity about your work, your direction, your relationship with money. You see a pattern, a truth, a missing piece. And the realization lands gently but firmly. I was not wrong, I was just looking at it from the wrong angle. That sentence changes everything, because the moment you stop calling yourself confused and start calling yourself perceptive, your entire energy reorganizes. Libra is ruled by balance, but balance does not mean standing still. It means knowing when to shift weight without falling. This insight does not push you, it steadies you. You begin to understand why certain opportunities felt misaligned, why forcing progress never worked, why your intuition kept whispering even when logic demanded silence. And suddenly money stops feeling like something outside of you, something you must chase, something you must earn through exhaustion. It begins to feel like a conversation, a relationship, a response. Because money follows clarity, not chaos, and clarity follows honesty. You are no longer asking, what should I do? You are asking what feels true now. That question alone changes how doors respond to you. You may notice ideas arriving more easily, decisions taking less time, a calm confidence replacing the old mental tug of war. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. You are seeing the same life through a clearer lens. And when the lens changes, the landscape follows. This is the moment when hesitation softens, when doubt loosens its grip, when action feels less like effort and more like response. You do not rush this clarity. You let it settle. You let it breathe. Because it did not come to impress you. It came to prepare you. Something is forming now, not fully visible yet, but present. A role, a direction, a place where your value is recognized without explanation. You will feel it before you can name it. So, stay here with this awareness. Let it expand quietly. Let it change the way you listen to yourself. Because the next shift is not about ideas anymore. It is about where those ideas are about to place you. And when that becomes clear, you will understand why this realization had to arrive first. Libra, stay with me. Because what unfolds now feels different in your body. There is a quiet shift in how people respond to you. Not louder, not dramatic, just more attentive. You may have noticed it already. A pause before someone speaks, a moment where your words land and stay, a subtle change in the way decisions begin to circle around you. This is not coincidence, this is placement. For a long time, you were the one smoothing edges, the one translating tension, the one finding common ground so everyone else could breathe easier. You carried harmony like a responsibility, and you did it well. But harmony was never meant to cost you your voice. Something has changed in how you hold yourself now. You are not pushing, you are not convincing, you are simply present. And presence, Libra, has weight. You are being seen as someone who can decide, someone who can analyze without overthinking, someone who understands nuance without losing direction. That is leadership, even if no one uses the word yet. This is why conversations feel different, why your input is sought instead of softened, why your perspective no longer needs translation. You are no longer asked to keep the peace, you are asked to shape outcomes. And that matters more than you realize, because money does not follow effort alone. It follows authority, not authority that dominates, but authority that stabilizes, the kind that makes others feel grounded when you speak. Your sign understands balance instinctively, and now, balance is no longer something you offer. It is something you embody. You may feel an unfamiliar confidence rising, not loud, not flashy, just steady. And knowing that says, I do not need to shrink to be accepted here, that knowing is changing where you stand. You might find yourself stepping into conversations you once avoided, making decisions you once postponed, claiming space without apology. And when you do, the world responds accordingly. Opportunities begin to align with your actual skill set. Roles start to match your internal clarity. Compensation starts to reflect contribution instead of compromise. This is not about proving your worth. It is about placing it correctly. You are no longer negotiating with environments that do not recognize you. You are being positioned where recognition is natural. That is why money begins to move more cleanly now. Not faster, cleaner, less friction, less justification, more flow. You are learning that value does not need to announce itself. It reveals itself through consistency, through discernment, through quiet confidence. And you have that now. This stage may feel unfamiliar because it does not come with applause. It comes with trust. People trust your judgment, trust your timing, trust your decisions. And when trust is present, resources follow. Take a moment to feel that truth, not as an idea, but as a sensation. Because this is not the peak, this is the placement. Something is being set into position beneath the surface. A structure, a role, a path where your intelligence and intuition finally work together. And as that structure settles, another question begins to form. Not about who you are, but about what you are ready to build next. So, keep listening, not to the noise, but to the clarity that is guiding you forward. Because once your value is placed correctly, the choices you make next will shape everything that follows. Libra, let's slow this moment down together. Just enough to feel what is already taking shape. You are not standing at the edge of something sudden. You are standing inside something deliberate, something built quietly, piece by piece, choice by choice. For a long time, you were careful with money in a way few people noticed. You asked questions others skipped. You paused when others rushed. You learned when it would have been easier to gamble. That patience did not look impressive on the outside. It did not come with applause. Sometimes it even made you doubt yourself. But those moments mattered because alignment is not dramatic, it is precise. And now, Libra, precision is beginning to respond. Not with a rush, not with a miracle that drops from the sky, but with a quiet return on energy you placed correctly. You may notice it as relief first, less pressure around decisions, less anxiety when you check your accounts, less mental noise about what could go wrong. That is how aligned money arrives. It does not announce itself, it steadies you. You made choices rooted in understanding, not fear. Choices that respected your values, not just outcomes. And those choices are beginning to speak back to you, not all at once, but clearly. You see, Libra, money flows differently when it is not being chased, when it is being met. Met with clarity, met with discernment, met with a sense of timing that says, I know when to move and I know when to wait. That balance is your gift. You are not someone who wins by excess. You win by accuracy. And now, that accuracy is paying attention to you. You may find opportunities presenting themselves without urgency, offers that do not pressure you, decisions that feel calm instead of chaotic. That is not coincidence, that is resonance. Spirit has been guiding your choices long before the results showed up, guiding you away from shortcuts that would have cost you peace, guiding you toward paths that could sustain you. And now, the response begins. Money starts to feel less emotional, less loaded with expectation, less tied to your worth. It becomes a tool again, a support, a reflection of alignment rather than survival. This is important, Libra, because when money stops carrying fear, it becomes stable. And stability does not require force. It requires trust. Trust in what you have learned. Trust in your ability to evaluate without overthinking. Trust in the quiet intelligence that has always guided you. You are no longer reacting to financial pressure. You are responding to financial clarity. That shift changes everything. You may notice that growth feels sustainable now. That expansion does not come at the cost of your health or your peace. That progress feels steady instead of sharp. This is the kind of abundance that lasts, the kind that does not need constant maintenance, the kind that grows with you. And as this stability settles, another layer begins to open. A sense of ease, a confidence that does not need proof, a readiness for something more than just security. Because once your foundation feels solid, your attention naturally lifts. You begin to ask different questions, not about how to survive, but about how to live. And that question, that gentle curiosity rising now, is what carries you forward. So take a breath here. Acknowledge what you have already done right. Let the results speak quietly. Because this chapter is not about speed, it is about strength. And as that strength grounds itself, you may feel something else calling you. Not louder, but clearer. Something that wants to grow from this stability into meaning. Libra. There is a softer feeling settling in now. Not excitement, not anticipation. Something deeper than both. Relief. The kind that reaches you before you realize you needed it. Because this moment is not just about money arriving. It is about pressure leaving. You have lived for a long time with a quiet weight in your chest. Not always fear, more like responsibility layered on responsibility. The constant awareness of what could tip the scale. And now, that weight is easing. You may notice it in small ways first. The way you sleep, the way your jaw unclenches without effort, the way your thoughts no longer spiral when you think about the future. This is how a new financial cycle opens for Libra, not with fireworks, but with peace. Money is beginning to align with your nervous system, with your values, with your sense of enough. And that changes everything. Because when money is no longer tied to survival, it becomes connected to choice. You begin to choose differently, not from urgency, but from clarity. You stop asking, how do I keep up? And start asking what actually matters to me now. That shift echoes into every corner of your life. Your relationships feel lighter. You are no longer overgiving to prove stability. No longer shrinking your needs to avoid conflict. You speak more honestly. You listen more clearly. You walk away from dynamics that drain you without guilt. Not because you are cold, but because you are finally full. When finances heal, Libra, boundaries heal too. Your confidence changes shape. It is no longer performative, no longer reactive. It becomes quiet, rooted, unshakable. You begin to trust your timing, trust your discernment, trust the internal scale that tells you when something is aligned and when it is not. And because you trust yourself, others begin to feel it. They meet you differently, respect your pace, respond to your presence. This is the hidden gift of this new cycle. Money does not arrive alone. It brings self-respect with it. You may find yourself enjoying life in ways that once felt impractical. Moments of beauty, stillness, space. Not as indulgence, but as balance restored. You no longer chase approval. You attract resonance. And that is the true Libra medicine. This cycle teaches you that abundance does not mean excess. It means harmony between what you earn, what you give, and what you keep for yourself. You are learning how to live inside your values instead of negotiating them. That is why this chapter feels quieter, why it feels sacred. You are no longer building just income. You are building a life that can hold it. And as this foundation settles, another awareness begins to surface. A knowing about what no longer belongs in this next season. People, patterns, environments, not with judgment, with clarity. Because when you finally feel supported, you stop tolerating what drains you. So, breathe here. Let this ease wash through you. You are not behind. You are not catching up. You are arriving. And as you stand here, grounded and steady, you may sense the next subtle instruction forming. Not loud, not urgent, just a gentle pull toward what deserves your energy next. And that is where the story continues. Libra. This is the part where things grow quieter, not emptier, cleaner. You may already feel it, that gentle pull to step back, to answer fewer calls, to sit with yourself a little longer than usual. This is not withdrawal, this is discernment. Because when your energy begins to rise, everything around you becomes louder, not in sound, in contrast. You start to notice who carries their own weight and who has been leaning on yours, who listens with presence and who listens only to take. Spirit is not asking you to cut people off harshly. It is asking you to stop overextending quietly. You have always been generous with understanding. You gave people space to grow. You held compassion even when it cost you clarity. But this season is different. You are no longer meant to absorb confusion that is not yours. You are no longer meant to stabilize environments that resist responsibility. You are no longer meant to explain yourself into exhaustion. This is where selective solitude becomes sacred, not isolation. Alignment. Time alone now feels nourishing instead of lonely. It gives your intuition room to speak without interruption. It clears the static so guidance can arrive cleanly. And guidance is arriving, Libra, softly, steadily. You may find yourself reassessing connections without resentment, just honesty. Some conversations no longer resonate. Some dynamics feel heavy in ways they did not before. Some people cannot follow you into this next frequency. That does not make them wrong. It makes them complete for this chapter. Growth always asks a question: what stays and what gently falls away? You are learning to answer without guilt. Because protecting your energy is not selfish. It is responsible. You are becoming someone whose presence carries intention, and intention requires space. This is why silence feels important now. Why fewer voices feel safer. Why simplicity feels like relief. You are calibrating. The Libra who used to over-explain is learning to trust that alignment does not need justification. The Libra who once stayed to keep the peace is learning that peace begins inside. You are not closing your heart. You are clearing the doorway. And in that clearing, something subtle happens. Your intuition sharpens. Your timing improves. Your decisions land with more confidence. Because when energy is clean, messages arrive undistorted. You begin to sense what deserves your time before it asks for it. You recognize misalignment before it drains you. This is a gift. One you earned through every lesson that taught you what not to carry. Not everyone needs to walk beside you now. Some were meant to teach you. Some were meant to mirror you. Some were meant to end gently. You are allowed to honor all of it without dragging it forward. So if you feel called to be quieter, to be more selective, to be more private, trust that instinct. This stillness is not a pause in your journey. It is preparation. Something ahead requires clarity, and clarity requires space. Let yourself have it. Breathe here. Stay grounded. Stay honest with what feels heavy and what feels light. Because as you protect your energy, another realization begins to rise. One about presence, about completion, about what it means to move forward unburdened. And when that realization settles, you will be ready for the final shift. Not louder, not faster, but true. And that is where the story completes itself. Libra, this is where everything softens into truth. Not the kind of truth that shocks, the kind that settles, the kind that feels inevitable once you finally see it. Your money story is not being rewritten with noise. It is being rewritten with alignment. There was never a moment where you failed, never a step that truly went in the wrong direction, only pauses that taught you timing, only delays that protected you from arriving too early. You did not miss your window, you were being prepared for it, and now you are standing inside the moment that fits. You may notice how calm this realization feels. No rush to announce it, no urge to prove it to anyone. Just a quiet sense of this makes sense now. That is how you know it is real. Because Libra, when something is aligned, your nervous system recognizes it before your mind explains it. You no longer feel behind when you look at others. You no longer measure your progress against timelines that were never yours. You feel rooted in your own rhythm, and that rhythm is finally being honored. This new chapter is not asking you to become someone else. It is asking you to stop abandoning who you already are. Your intelligence, your discernment, your ability to see both sides without losing yourself. These were never weaknesses. They were skills waiting for the right environment. Now, that environment is forming. Money responds to you differently now because you respond to yourself differently. You trust your instincts, you respect your boundaries, you choose from clarity instead of fear. And the world mirrors that back, not instantly, but consistently. This is the kind of abundance that does not disappear when tested, the kind that grows quietly alongside your self-respect, the kind that feels stable even in uncertainty. You are not chasing success anymore, you are hosting it. And hosting requires presence, grace, space. You have all three now. If you look back, you will see how every lesson led you here. Every moment of doubt refined your discernment. Every pause sharpened your intuition. Nothing was wasted. This story was never about becoming rich quickly. It was about becoming aligned deeply. And alignment lasts. So, if you are feeling a calm confidence instead of excitement, a steady hope instead of urgency, a quiet certainty instead of pressure, that is your confirmation. You are exactly where you need to be. Your money story is changing because you have changed how you relate to value, to time, to yourself. And as you move forward from here, you do not need to rush. You do not need to explain. You do not need to convince. Just stay present, stay honest, stay open. Because this chapter does not end with a finish line. It opens into a life that finally feels balanced. And that balance is your signature. Trust it. If this message resonates, let it sit with you. Breathe it in, carry it quietly. And remember, Libra, you are not arriving late. You are arriving right on time. Your money story is quietly changing. Libra, before you go, stay with me for just a moment longer. Because sometimes the most important part of the message is not what was said. It is what you felt while listening, that quiet recognition in your chest, that gentle nod you didn't even realize you made, that sense of calm that didn't need explanation. That is not imagination. That is alignment. You didn't find this message by accident, and you didn't stay because you were curious. You stayed because something here spoke your language, soft, clear, balanced. This is what happens when you finally stop forcing life and start trusting your timing. Nothing loud needed to happen. Nothing dramatic needed to prove itself. And yet, everything shifted. If you felt seen today, if you felt understood without being judged, if you felt like this message was written just for you, I want you to honor that. Take a second and let me know in the comments. Just a word, just a feeling, even just, I felt this. Your voice matters here. And if this message brought you peace, if it reminded you that you are not behind, that your path is unfolding exactly as it should, support this space. Like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Not for numbers, but for connection. This channel is a place for Libra souls who are done rushing, done proving, done shrinking. A place where balance is not something you chase, but something you return to. And trust this. This is not the end of the message. It's a pause, a breath, a moment of grounding before the next layer reveals itself. Because the journey doesn't stop here. Another insight is already forming. Another message is already on its way. So keep listening, keep trusting. And most of all, trust yourself, Libra. You are exactly where you need to be. And your story, it's still unfolding.